This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
So here we go. One more out to go. Hayden Brooks delivers. Strike one. Two
What?
strikes away.
Max Arraj on the call, taking you through it. One out away.
Brooks.
It was so
Deal one.
special.
Just away. For ball
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I got chill bumps listening to your call on the way home. It's really solid. It's really
It's
solid.
really good.
You started off a little shaky, but then you found it. You
He's
found it.
ready. He fires. Delivers. Pop. Foul
Good
back.
battle here, by the way.
Strike two.
Yep.
And we are one strike away.
Shout out to Mark Renix, friend of Lowco.
Two outs. Brooks fires. Pop fly. He's got it. And he makes the out. Ball game. Series.
From this point on, killed it.
For the
Yep.
first time in 14 years, Hilton Head Christian Academy can call themselves state champions. In J.W. Wilkerson's final game, what could be more fitting? What could be more special?
That was quite a call, Max Arraj. What could be more fitting? What could be more special? That's where the chill bumps popped
True.
up for me. You gave it a little room to breathe. You let us hear the natural sound. You may have backed into some of those wins, but it doesn't matter. You got the W at the end of the day. Just a terrific call there on Buford's Own. This is the LowcoSports Lowdown. I'm Justin Jarrett, Max Arraj, and Wes Kerr joining you. You guys were both at the cage tonight. We just heard Max. Wes, you were doing a great job as the color analyst there and letting Max call the final out. Terrific work there. Great job by Javon, letting Max slide in there for the seventh inning. That was a really nice gesture. And there you have it, 12-4 in a game that was very much in doubt late. Hilton Head Christian Academy with a big 6-run inning, and then they just kept the pedal down, and they win the state championship, first one since 2010. Tell me about the atmosphere, fellas. It looked like it was hype.
It's one of those special moments that you will remember for a while as a LowcoSports fan, even if you're not a Hilton Head Christian Academy fan. I saw JP2 shirts. I saw Bluffton folks. I saw people from every which way attend this game, and they knew the significance of it, and they knew how special it was. And this game, it was far from a blowout for the most part. It was a tight game. HHCA found themselves trailing at multiple points, or at one point when it was 4-3, and there were some troubling signs early, but you just kind of knew that the way Hilton Head Christian Academy has approached things at the plate, and with the way they're just able to grind out at bats and put runners on, and eventually the seal was going to break, and they're going to have that big inning. And then it happened in the fifth, and just give credit to the way they approached the job that they had at the dish, and they just had that belief that it was going to work eventually. And we saw it kind of form early in the game, and they just weren't able to get all the runs that they needed early in those first few innings. But once they found their groove, and I think the turning point was really the double by Kalela to start that fifth inning. But you even look before that, and the job that Mickelson did coming in relief of Wilson to get a couple of big shutdown innings, and then HHCA able to capitalize off a couple of mistakes. I think PD let a couple of opportunities slip away, and there's that ringing double. That wasn't it.
No, that was a fly out. That was a sac fly, but you got
that
into
was
it.
a sac fly. But the Kalela double was a sight to behold, and HHCA continued to work productive and efficient at bats at times to get runners over and get them in. And for a couple of other opportunities, just prolong those at-bats to wear that starter down. And you knew that eventually, as well as Heckman did to find a way to compete and stay in it, he just couldn't find his groove as that game went on. And then once Hilton Head Christian was able to really assert the dominance of the plate, this one was pretty much all over. And credit to Kalila for stepping up. Credit to, everybody for doing their job. And it was a total team win, team effort. Just a really special group. And for J.W. Wilkerson, that's a great way to write that last chapter of this particular moment as he gets ready to move into the 80 role. But just a special evening that will be remembered for many years, and 14 years, as he said. And the wait is over for Max Arraj at Hilton Head Christian Academy.
Max, we did hear your call there, but you've had some time to reflect on it now. Just thoughts on the magnitude of this. And I know it's something that you've been waiting for a long time, and Hilton Head Christian has too, but just reflect on the night.
I graduated in 2019, and I watched them growing up as a fan of Eagles varsity baseball, and I finally made the team. Didn't have my best years playing varsity baseball, but I made everything I could to, and did everything I could to help my team get to the state championship. We came close twice. We lost to that PD team back in the day to lose our chance at a state championship. 2 games away. We never came. We never got to that stage. I graduated in 2019, and every year after that, I tried to make as many games as I could. Going from the old campus out to the new campus, every year for 5 years now, I've, waited because I knew the moment they brought J.W. Wilkerson in, there is going to be a day where we win a state championship. And he brought in not only himself, but brought in other top coaches from around the Lowco, including, Eddie and Jay Scarborough, who's going to be the new head coach for Hilton Head Christian Academy starting next season, which I think is a great move by Hilton Head Christian Academy to give Jay Scarborough the head coaching position, because that dude knows everything about the sport. But, I watched, I waited, and it's finally happened. I'm kind of speechless. I don't know what to think at the moment. I've had time to reflect. I still haven't reflected yet.
It hasn't sunk in yet. Well, if you're speechless, we can hear from J.W. Wilkerson, who went out on top tonight, your post-game interview.
Sports. I'm here with the head coach of Hilton Head Christian Academy Baseball, J.W. Wilkerson. J-Dub, you did it, man. It's state champions. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. This group, what we were able to overcome. Last year, not achieving what we thought we could achieve. This year, we were on a mission. We from practice day one in the off season to the weight room to this moment right here. This has been the goal. This has been what it's been about, and it's just so surreal. It's amazing. It's awesome.
Coach, your final game as a head coach for Hilton Head Christian Academy as you move on to become the athletic director. The hell of a way to finish it off. So, what's the next step for the program?
Next step, just continue to go up. The program's going to be in great hands. My pitching coach, Jay Scarborough, is going to take over. We're going to keep our assistants in hand. We're going to just continue to build on what we have here, best facilities, best fans, best announcer, and the sky's the limit. We just proved, I think this is the last state championship in the Lowco since 2010.
And then Carlos' camera died. But we do have more post-game interviews, including here with
LowcoSports fans, Max Arraj here. I'm here with Keen Reese. Keen, unfortunate ending to your season. Obviously got hit in the face with a baseball while batting. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. Obviously it's sad to end my season before the game ended, but you know, we worked real hard on this, and this is what it's all about right here. Ended it with a state championship with my team. Nothing better than
Double
this.
nose plugs.
You boys went
going.
up against some of the top teams in South Carolina this year, and you battled with every single one of them. You know, going into this playoffs, you know, you had the confidence. You guys lost to Williamsburg Academy. After that game, what was the motivation for you guys to come back and just finish the job?
You know, we all sat down and we're like, you know, this isn't us. We're not going out like we did last year. We're much better. We went and worked the next day, and we won 3 in a row to get us here. And then, you know, we're here, and we just stayed hot. And you see what happened here. We win. So,
yeah, Keen, congratulations on an incredible season. Hate to see it end like that for you, but congratulations. Job well done.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you back here next year. That's going to do it for me, guys. I'm Max Arraj with LowcoSports. Remember, go Lowco.
But that's not all.
To do the staff,
We've
the
got
pitching
one more.
staff, and the coaching staff.
Oops. I don't know why.
What's
that
up,
jumped
Loco
ahead.
Sports fans? Max
Steel
Arraj
Bird.
here, and what is a momentous day. Hillnet Christian Academy, for the first time in 14 years, wins a baseball state championship. I'm here with Steel Bird. Steel, an incredible win for you guys, an incredible moment. How does it feel, man?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This team, we're coming into the season, coming off of a decent year last year, and we just turned it all around. Coach Scarborough was added to the staff, the pitching staff and the coaching staff, and he just turned us around. And our pitchers had like a sub-2 ERA all year, so couldn't do it without them, and just an unbelievable feeling.
Yeah, you mentioned the pitching staff, what depth y'all had at pitching this year, and I think that was really the key thing for you guys as y'all moved forward through the playoffs. And, you know, Hayden Brooks shutting it down for you guys tonight. I mean, what a moment.
I'm speechless. Dream come true. Not many seniors get to finish on a win, especially a state championship win, and it's just unbelievable.
You're heading off to Clemson next year. You know, big expectations, obviously. You know, how do you feel now that you have a state championship on your hands? How does it feel to be going to Clemson as a state champion?
Feels pretty awesome. Like I said, not many people get to do it, but, you know, it all starts now. Got to clean up some stuff and get ready and get out there as soon as I can.
Steel, congratulations. Thank you so much. Hell of a season. Good luck at Clemson next year. And hopefully we'll see you back for a couple games next year. All right, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Max Arraj with LowcoSports. Remember, go Lowco.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Shout out to Carlo Perusa with the camera work as well as the highlights tonight.
Yeah, by the way, Keen broke his nose on that.
Yeah,
that
was pretty apparent during that interview.
It was really bad. It was really bad. I was like, oh my, this, and I had a feeling eventually it was going to come because that, I mean, you know, shout out to PD's starting pitcher, Heckman, but he had a couple pitches where it came close to the batter, whether it was the face or, you know, somewhere else on the body. And then finally, run. Yeah, and then finally it kind of hit someone. I was like, I kind of saw this one coming, but you know, that nonetheless, he pitched a good game for PD Academy. Just couldn't really find his groove, and I think Christian Academy kind of went in with a bit of the same game plan from game one. You know, tire the pitcher out, get good at bats,
get into the bullpen.
I mean, it showed because PD gave up 10 walks in this game. And that shows what Hillnet Christian Academy did for 2 games against PD, which was make every out a battle. And I think that's what it showed for 2 games against PD Academy, and that's how they won this series.
And PD did a good job of getting into the bullpen tonight as well. But Walker Mickelson was up to the task. You know, I thought that was key because they were trying to hold back Brooks at that point because they were down. You didn't want to burn him if you have to go to a game 3. But Mickelson came in and 8 innings, and not just 8 innings, but shut him down for 3 innings. That was huge. And then it was cool that they were able to bring in Hayden to close it out, you know, just to finish it off. That was a nice gesture to let him get in there and shut it down. So really cool ending. Really cool. Here's a stat for you. Yeah, your voice is shot, huh, Wes?
My voice, I'm very close to losing my voice completely.
I believe it. Here's some stats for you. Roman Colella during the playoffs. So 7 games. It's ridiculous. 14 for 27 for a 519 batting average. A 1425 OPS.
Oh my
Whoa.
God.
6 singles, 7 doubles, a homer, 14 RBIs. He only scored 2 runs because courtesy runners.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But absolutely outrageous stat line from him in the postseason. He really carried the offense. Cody Bratt also really good in the playoffs, 350 with a 1236 OPS. And Dylan Clark stepped it up. He only hit 231, but he had 1104 OPS. So
He was also important on
you
the
know,
mound in Game 1 in that series.
huge.
Yep.
Yeah, it takes everybody in baseball. That's the thing. Like it takes everybody. You only get to bat once every 9 guys, and you only get to make a play in the field when they hit it to you.
I mean,
So
yeah,
you
I mean,
just it
yeah,
takes
Steele
everybody.
said, Steele said it himself, man. I mean, they had a post like below, around a 2 ERA
Yeah.
as a pitching staff. That is like extremely good for any high school team, because you're gonna have every now and then
They
where there's
finished
gonna
with
be
a 159 ERA.
yeah, that's ridiculous,
Sheesh.
and that's because I mean, even for high school, that's extremely special and extremely rare, because there's always going to be a team that's better than you. And this year, there really wasn't many games where they gave up a lot of runs. I mean, and they played, like I said on the live stream, they played some of the best teams in South Carolina. James Island, AC Flora, defending 4A state champions, Augusta Christian.
Stratford. They got whacked by Stratford. That was that was
probably the one game they got demolished.
That was it. That was
Stratford.
the one game they gave up double-digit runs.
The first game, the first game against Prep that they played was kind of like that. That's the next closest game to where it was kind of like oh, really? Okay. And
and I felt like Prep won that one more than Christian lost it, but
yeah.
But still, they were kind of flat in that game. They got caught kind of flat-footed. But no, I mean, after that first loss to Williamsburg, they just, and really, I mean, they were kind of flat in the first part of that Forest Christian game too. It was 2-2.
And then it got
the rain came, and then I keep thinking of the Cubs. I keep thinking of the 2016 Cubs and the rain delay. It changed it all. Jason Hayward. I wonder who gave the rain delay speech. I guess it was the next morning that the announcement about JW came out, right?
I believe it was. Yeah.
I think
perfect timing, by the way.
Yeah.
Little fire.
Any better than that?
Yeah. I think so.
Let me just say this. What an atmosphere it was over there tonight. Holy cow. Everyone in Bluffton showed up for this game. I mean, everyone. And it was so special to see. And it was such, I mean, PD showed up too. They had their crews show up, and they always will.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we saw it at Prep last week.
Did they bring the train horn?
They did. They brought the train horn. But
it was blowing. I bet it was blowing until late in the game.
I said to DJ Styles, I was like, dude, this field has everything. You have great atmosphere. It's well set up. It's in a great spot. All you need now is some fireworks in dead center, and you'll be ready to go.
There you go. Right field mafia. All you're missing is the right field mafia.
But I mean, everyone showed up for this game, and it was great to see Bluffton, everyone from Bluffton, whether it was Bluffton High School, May River, JP2, Hilton Head Prep, they all showed up because.
Well, that's one thing I'll say about the Lowco. They do that when somebody's still going, when everybody else is gone. They show up. I mean, the year that Bluffton High School hosted Myrtle Beach in the lower state football final, everybody was there. I mean, that place was packed. Anytime that a team around here makes a deep run and gets to play at home, people come out from all over and support it. So it's a cool thing, and hopefully we help foster that.
Yeah,
Hampton County. I mean, you look at this, like, and then back to Estill with that basketball run. I mean, they local love to support each other, and that goes from Hilton Head to Bluffton, to Beaufort, to all the way to Hampton, Jasper counties. It's it's fun to see that. Everybody
and it's
cares.
usually the rivals that support each other, which is what I love. Like the Ridgeland kids will show up to the Hampton games, like the Hilton Head kids will show up to the May River or Bluffton games. Like
that's right.
That's my favorite part about it.
Like when you play each other, it's go time. We're
Yeah.
not friends for now. Before and after the game, sure, why not? We are friends because everybody knows each other around here.
Right.
So when your friend makes it to a state championship, I gotta go watch him play. I gotta go watch him win.
And you've probably been on a team with them at some point, whether it was a rec team or a travel team or something. You've played with most of these guys at some point or another. They're your guys. So yeah, you show up and support them, and I think people are starting to understand too. Like when one of us wins, we all win. Like it's a rising tide thing. It's good for our area to win championships, whether it's your school or not. That helps. That helps everybody. So this is a good night tonight for the Lowco. Hilton Head Christian bringing home a state baseball title. Unfortunately, we came just short in the other game. We'll talk a little softball after we shout out the MVP sponsors, and we'll lead off the MVP sponsors tonight with the Mickelson Law Firm, the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, our OG sponsors since 2017, and our official real estate closing attorney. I know it is a celebration tonight in the Mickelson household. Walker getting the win in relief.
Oh, dude,
that's huge. He's headed to Anderson next year. I know they're over the moon over there. So congratulations to our friends at the Mickelson Law Firm. Support them with all your legal needs. Megan Jarrett's our official realtor of LowcoSports, and my wife. She is the queen bee of the Lowco Hive. She'd love to help you find a place in the Lowco. She's with Keller Williams of the Low Country, so she can help you out getting into the real estate market. Great time for it. Got some negotiating power right now. Not a ton of inventory, so if you want to get ahead of it and get the house on the market, call in Megan Jarrett, official realtor of LowcoSports. And if you're buying a home or if you're building a new one, you got to call in Homegrown Home Inspections, our official home inspectors. They will check out that home, make sure it's a great investment, or if it's a new build, they'll check in every step of the way with their phased inspection and make sure you are being built right at Homegrown Home Inspections. And Hospice Care of the Low Country, official hospice provider of LowcoSports, and the only not-for-profit hospice in Southern Beaufort County. They also provide services to the outlying areas like Jasper, Hampton, and Colleton. So if you are looking for services at the end of life, call in Hospice Care of the Low Country. Great organization, nonprofit, doing great things in our community, because in hospice care, it's not about dying, it's about living. Those are our MVP sponsors. So talking softball, fellas, it was a tough one, and Jimmy was going to try to jump on if he was still awake, but I'm guessing he might not still be awake. We'll see if he jumps in a minute. But Jimmy Searson was over there. He said it was a really tough loss tonight for Carleton Prep. They lost 3-2 to Clarendon Hall, which, remember, it was 22-0 on aggregate in the regular season, and then they lost 6-1 in game one. So heck of a showing tonight. Great crowd, he said. And he also sent his love to Hilton Head Christian for bringing home a state title, because Jimmy gets the spirit of the one Lowco thing for sure. But Clarendon Hall scored 2 in the third. Carleton took an early lead. Clarendon scored 2 in the third. Carleton tied it back up in the bottom of the third. And then Clarendon Hall scored the go-ahead run in the sixth and held them off. But really good effort by Sydney Stivender. Went the distance, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 6 Ks, no walks. We talked last night about limiting the walks. She did that and kept them in it. She also went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Sydney Bailey was 2 for 3 with a double, and Ava Murray was 1 for 3 with a homer. So tough ending, but outstanding season for the Warhawks from Carleton Prep.
And a great effort there in game 2 of that series. See how far they've come against that same opponent. And I mean, everything you wanted to see, it happened. I mean, Stivinger was great. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 6. Nobody made an error. So just tough to see them fall short despite all the good happening. And, I mean, you got to think it was Yount from Clarendon Hall. She was the difference.
Came on in relief.
And drove in the game-winning run. Great players make great plays, and she provided Clarendon Hall the championship. So, I mean, congratulations to her, but tough to see for Carleton Prep. But, I mean, the way they continued to fight and get better as that season wore along and almost forced that game 3. Just really proud of that team and continuing to be one of the best in the, not just the Lowco, but in Skeeza as well in their classification. So huge congratulations on a tremendous season for the Warhawks. And I'll tell you, something's brewing over there for softball in Carleton. The Cougars, another great year. in the South Carolina School League 4A, and Carleton Prep continually being one of the best in the Skeezer ranks. So there's got to be some good feeder program over there to develop some softball time, because they keep turning.
Yeah, their rec programs are very strong, and they've got that complex right in their backyard where they have travel tournaments every weekend.
Yep.
And that's the access is huge. Being able to go play right there at home and see good competition is really big. So they got a lot of things going on over there that are good, very good. Baseball ain't bad either. It's just there's not quite as much depth, but yeah, solid season for Carleton Prep. So that brings both baseball and softball season to a close for us, fellas. So literally the only thing we have left on the schedule for the high school sports season is the track meets this weekend, and actually start tomorrow. Whale Branch in the 1A meet tomorrow. I think they have an excellent chance to bring home state titles, but the boys and the girls, they got an army of people going. They blew everybody out at lower state, so it would have to take somebody from upper state, which I'm sure the upper state 1A charter privates are probably strong, one of them at least. But I think Whale Branch is going to take it. Oh shoot, looky here, he's still awake. Jimmy Searson, he's still awake. Stayed up late for us. What's up, buddy? We just gave our real quick recap, but we would be happy to hear more about the Carleton Prep game tonight from somebody who was there. And you said it was a great crowd, great atmosphere, and sounds like they played one of their best games of the year. Just came up a little bit short against a really good team.
Yeah, I'm still up. But yeah, it was a great game tonight. Here, and a great crowd. That was the biggest crowd I've seen at a Carleton Prep game. They were all the way around the field, standing up at the fences. But yeah, it was a great game to watch. I just wish CPA could have pulled out the win.
Yeah, tough way to go. But everything we talked about last night, they did it. They didn't walk anybody. They didn't make any errors. Played a really sound game. But just needed one more timely hit, I guess. But how about the bomb by Ava Murray? Did she get it good?
Yeah, she hit it good. She's having a great year, or had a great year. But she's been killing the ball.
Right?
Yeah, 7 homers on the year. But it was great to see her hit another one tonight.
Yeah, man. How many did they graduate? Did they bring a lot of kids back?
Yeah, they had 3 seniors on the team. Hannah Strickland, Sydney Bailey, and Mackenzie Pello. So
excuse me.
Bless you, man.
My cat's over here driving me crazy.
Yeah, bless you.
I'm about half allergic. So, yeah. So a couple, those are our key players definitely, but not. I mean, Bailey's a pretty big loss, but they bring back a ton of talent. Sounds like, including Stuyvesant, which is the big thing. As long as you don't graduate the pitcher, you got a shot, right? So they should be pretty strong. And I'm guessing the JV, they have a JV or just a middle school, or they got some kids coming up through the ranks.
Yeah, they got a couple of good kids coming up. They had a middle school JV combined team this year.
Okay.
They had the varsity and then a middle school JV combined team. But yeah, they got a couple of good players coming up. But the varsity's got a lot of 9th and 10th graders, and even as the center fielder is only in 8th grade that started for the varsity. So they got a lot of talent coming back.
Good deal. And your daughter plays middle school there, right?
That's correct. She plays middle school softball for CPA. So in a couple of years, she's in 6th grade. So a couple of years, either in 8th or 9th, I'm hoping she'll be on the varsity.
All right, good stuff. So we got a Carleton Prep softball reporter built in for the next few years. So that's a nice thing to have in our back pocket. But You guys have any questions for Jimmy before we let him get to bed?
Yeah,
I mean, just talk about. I mean, you've seen this Colleton prep team play throughout the year. Talk about how they've gotten better, and just seeing how they performed against this same Clarendon Hall team. Just elaborate on how they've improved, and then maybe just talk about how this Clarendon Hall team was able to get the better of Colleton prep in this series, and what you thought about both these teams in this best of 3 championship series.
Yeah, Colleton Prep got better, like you said, as the season got along. And then against Clarendon Hall, the first game was like 14-0. Clarendon Hall beat Colleton Prep. And then it was like 7-0 or nothing. And then it was like 6-1. And then the night was 3-2. So Colleton Prep's really improved, and but Clarendon Hall's got a lot of good hitters, and yeah, they got a good team. But Colleton Prep, they played better as the season got along, and Colleton Prep's got a lot of younger players, like I said, and they got better as the season went along. But tonight, I mean, that was a great game and atmosphere against Clarendon Hall. They played a lot better.
Yeah,
Always helps to be at home.
Yeah. You talk about all the young talent. I kind of, it sounds like the program's set in stone for the next few years, or for the future to come. Because I think they've won a state championship before. I don't see any way that they don't win one next year. I mean, you lose 3 seniors, 3 very important seniors, but the young talent that you have, I don't see any way that they can't go for a state championship next year. And I really think when you have Sydney Strivinger again next year, I think that she's only going to get better. So I assume, like, in your mind, I would assume, Jimmy, that you're looking at this program saying, yeah, we got a few more state championships in us.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sydney Stavanger, she's got 2 more years, and I know I think they clocked her fastball like 64 miles per hour, which is really good in softball. So yeah, she's good. Yeah, really quick.
What are they throwing from? 40 feet or something?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
42 or something. It's short.
So that means it looks more fast. It looks more like 80 from.
It looks like about 95.
Yeah.
90s, man. That's ridiculous.
That is just going from 60 to 54 on a baseball field.
I got to get out for some softball games next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Get out there next year,
That's a great program, and so is Colleton County. They have some talented young ladies, great coaches. I mean, got to have solid leaders of those 2 teams, and I'm sure the coaching staff is doing a great job just continuing to develop this team and giving them opportunities to improve and excel. So, really fun group to watch play. And Jimmy, I'm sure you were following what was going down over in Bluffton, the Hilton Head Christian Academy. It's always amazing. You've seen a couple of state championships recently for your Buford Eagles, but for Hilton Head Christian Academy, it has to be a special moment, especially gaining the chance and succeeding the chance to do it right on your home field.
Yeah, I was going to say congrats to Hilton Head Christian Academy. I watched the probably last 4 or 5 innings on Buford's own. Y'all did a great job on there. But yeah, I was happy to see Hilton Head Christian win a state title. All the low country was pulling for
them. Yeah, man.
Maybe
not. There might have been some people who weren't, but that's all right. They can cry about it now.
Really, yeah. I mean,
it's all right. We all got our beefs. It's all right. But we appreciate you, Jimmy, man, and we'll let you get to bed. But thanks as always for your reporting. We appreciate it, and we know when you're on the case, we're gonna get the story. So thanks a lot, man.
Football season will be here.
You're welcome.
Very soon, my man.
We'll talk to you after
go Lowco.
Buford, we'll definitely talk to you after that Buford football spring game. We'll want to report on that.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it. I'm planning on being there.
Right on.
So I'll definitely give you a report. You too.
All
Go
right, man.
Loco.
Go
Peace, man.
Lowco. Jimmy Searson, always great to talk with him. 2 nights in a row, man. We don't deserve it. It's good stuff. But the varsity sponsors of Loco Sports help us keep rolling, and we got DDS Web Design, which builds, hosts, and maintains websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So if you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties, and they've jumped on to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Loco. Reverence Wrestling Club is the place to be if you want to take your skills on the mat to the next level. They're our official wrestling sponsor and the presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. And Dr. Ambrose Cole is our official chiropractor. You can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Those are our varsity sponsors. And now we can do a little sharing and telling. We got some love for Jimmy, Randy Fincham, his cousin, saying great job, cousin Jimmy, as always. Jimmy's the best. A little share and tell action. I've got something that I definitely want to share because it's one of the coolest things that I saw today and recently, quite frankly. Hanahan baseball, rival of Beaufort. So sorry to our Beaufort Eagles fans. Not trying to rub it in, but this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Here we go. Just wait. Just wait. That's good. The dog pile's good, but it gets better. We're going on an adventure, boys.
Oh no. There they go.
Nothing can prepare you for what's going to happen.
Oh boy.
Whatever you're imagining, it's going to be better.
Okay. God, they are running, man.
They are in a hurry to get wherever they're going.
Oh my! Oh, it's in the pool. Wow.
Backyard pool party. Cannonball.
That's hilarious.
Bobby's got me feeling fun. Where's that?
Neighbor's backyard. Dude,
We got Coach in there.
the neighbors are like, what's going on? All right.
That's the best. Other than Hilton at
hilarious.
Christian Academy clinching a state championship, that's the best video I've seen today.
That's magnificent, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Fantastic.
so good.
Oh,
So
just
good.
some random person's backyard just sees all these.
I mean, if
baseball players.
Hilton at Christian had just booked it over to Pinecrest and jumped into the pool, then and taken the camera with them for the ride.
Well, you gotta cross the street.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I have a
Pretty
share to
epic,
tell.
pretty epic celebration from Hanahan. I would not be surprised if that makes it on Sports Center. That's pretty good.
That is good.
Yeah,
I do
it
have
will
a,
definitely make the rounds on social media, you would think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I might have a share and tell with y'all. I was talking with J-Dub after the game. I was like, so, what are you looking towards as, the athletic director? And he's like, well, I got a new sport coming in for Hilton Head Christian Academy next year. Softball is coming to Hilton Head Christian Academy.
Good.
Yeah. About time. It's been a while since the Christian Academy actually had a softball program. They had it for one season, and then that was it. They didn't play it again. So they are bringing softball to the Eagles of Hilton Head Christian. How cool is that, man? That's going to be fantastic.
That's really exciting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Also, I did want to share with you guys. I did talk to J-Dub. I'm going to try to get him on for the Loco Lowdown tomorrow.
Excellent. Yeah, I was going to suggest that. So that would be perfect.
We get some players or well, at least one player to talk about more in depth as well, because
I'd like to get Roman if he wants to.
He was the guy these playoffs. My goodness, and I'd say multiple times the broadcast, like he has been the X factor in this, of course, this last series, but
even more than that. I mean, his stats are amazing, and he carried them offensively in the postseason. But more importantly, when Steele got hurt, they were going to be hurting behind the plate if they didn't have Roman, and they didn't miss a beat behind the plate. I mean,
he was
outstanding.
He was fantastic, man. That was so fun.
So no, he was kind of the unsung. He was kind of the cog, the linchpin that without him, it would have been a lot different. When Steele.
Sometimes you have that player who, it's not the top guy or not the star, but how many times have we seen like the MVPs in the league championship series, the World Series, be like the guy you didn't expect it to be, and he comes out as a tear.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Roman did it all year for him, but he was especially good in this series. And a lot of people pitched around Steele wisely. I would do the same, especially in that ballpark. I would pitch around him. There's no way I'm giving him a fastball over the plate. But Slade and Roman made him pay when they did, and Roman in particular. So that was.
How about
really
Cody though?
huge.
What he was able to do, because his status wasn't down after game one. And not only was he, finding ways to get on base. I mean, his base running was terrific. He was lights out plate.
How about that?
Never
how
missed
about, Wes? How about that play where pickoff attempt, a pass ball on the pickoff attempt, and Cody went from first to third
on a wild pick.
Well, I saw him run. I said to Wes, I was like, well, I don't think he has an oblique injury anymore. He looked fantastic running around the bases. So I was like, I think he's back for the game.
Must have got his treatment. Got his treatment in and got feeling better. But good stuff. Heck of a season for them. Heck of a baseball season all around. I really, really enjoyed this baseball season. There was a lot of competitive teams that made good playoff runs, some really good games, some outstanding performances, a bunch of
I
individuals.
I kind of wish that last May River Bluffton game wasn't rained out, because that was a really fun game to watch.
But how about Bluffton, man?
Bluffton,
we didn't know what
Bluffton was the big story.
An at-large bid. I mean, they got their first win in region play like late into the season.
The last two games,
the last two games, and they get in as the last at-large bid, and they went to work during the playoffs, man. I mean, they were all business during the playoffs, and it came to the May River Bluffton game, and I was like, wow, this should be interesting to see how these two teams play against each other. Obviously, it didn't end the way I think we wanted it to end. It was such a close game for it to be rained out and stuff, and call it as final. But oh my God, Bluffton, I think surprised. I think it surprised a lot of people. We knew they had a good team. We just didn't know. I think with the region they played in, it was extremely difficult. That was probably the most competitive region in 4A this year. I mean, 100%.
Really good. Really good.
And for them to get that far in the playoffs, it was really special to see. And I think, those seniors are going to remember that, that run in the playoffs for years to come, including, Nico, and then you got players like Miles Fry. There are a lot of players from that Bluffton team who are going to remember that playoff run because
a lot of young guys
they didn't know what to expect, and they
outplayed. Be back and have bigger roles next year.
Yeah,
so I'm excited for the future of this Bluffton program, as well as May River, and just baseball in general, to see the next crop of stars. And I'm sure for you, JJ, a lot of these guys, kids who are graduating, are players that you got to coach or mentor back on the either with
the graduating classes are a little older. I didn't coach any of them,
You just got to see them play.
But they were still playing, in the rec leagues at Oscar
Right.
Frazier and stuff when I joined the board there, when our boys were first starting out.
Right.
So no, I watched them grow up. I watched them play, rec ball, and followed along as they went and played travel ball and all those things, and then covered them in high school. So yeah, this is kind of the first, kind of the first crop of kids graduating that I remember watching them play when they were little. So it's pretty cool, and also kind of bittersweet,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
makes you feel really
other,
old.
Yeah. I mean, there are other teams too who made incredible playoff runs. May River had a great season. Buford had a really good season too. They had a great playoff run. I mean, they didn't lose a game until the lower states, right?
Yeah, lower state tournament where they dropped 2 straight. But yeah,
Two
terrific
tough
run
ones.
by Buford.
They
Patrick
went
Henry.
smooth sailing through those playoffs, man. It
Patrick
was
Henry
impressive.
as well. Another solid playoff run. Tough to see it end when they won that first game, then dropped 2 row in that series against the Calhoun Academy.
Hilton Head Prep as well. We were one win away from a Hilton Head Prep, Hilton Head Christian series, which would have been great. Carlton Prep was in the semis. So
Hilton Head Prep had a great season as well, man.
Yeah, good stuff.
Hats off to the Dolphins. But then you got softball as well. I mean, we had quite a few good softball programs this year. Buford, May River, Colden County. They had all great programs this year. It was a great year of baseball and softball.
JP2's on the rise. They made it to the semis in 3A. So softball on the rise, definitely. I mean, we're seeing it in the rec leagues too. It's really
May River had a tremendous run as well.
They did.
I really had fun watching that Sharks team.
Well, yeah, they were kind of the flagship, I think.
Now you got Hilton Head Christian Academy joining in on that mix.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. Are we going to dilute it too much?
Yeah.
Are we going to dilute it too much if we keep adding programs? Because Cross has a program too. Like, do we have enough? Do we have enough pitchers for everybody to have one?
You never know, man. It's interesting.
We got to keep developing.
Well, I mean, all the private school teams are now starting to add softball programs to their choices of athletics, and you wonder, is there enough players to go around to all these?
That's what I'm saying. It takes about 14 or 15 really to do it right, that can really play, and it gets thinned out real fast. So I hope we're developing kids at a fast enough rate to keep up with all these teams, and we don't end up with just a couple powerhouses and a bunch of teams that are struggling to compete because they don't have pitching.
I think eventually, because softball is growing so much around here, and I think eventually one day, if you don't have any more programs for schools and stuff like that, I think eventually you'll have enough, players to go around. But I mean, for right now, I think, there's going to be a point where there are going to be some schools who are struggling to find, players who are, good enough at the varsity level.
Yeah, and I mean, who they hire as a coach matters too, because if you hire the right person, they kind of bring built-in people with them sometimes. But that could be robbing from other programs of people getting the transfer portal. So it'll be interesting. That will just kind of throw a whole different wrinkle into the Lowco softball landscape, and we may just kind of have to see where the dust settles. But that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. I'm interested to see who they hire there. Got some ideas. I'm curious now who they're looking at. I mean, like, I'm just thinking about people that are out there and wondering where they're looking. But interesting thoughts. So yeah, good share and tell, Max. Anything else, boys, before we read some sponsors and do our shout outs?
Yeah, Max, as a fan, we talked about it a little, but we've had some years. Hilton Head Christian Academy has been trying to develop that baseball program. When J.W. Wilkerson took over, did you think that this was possible and that we were going to get to a point where this team was going to go all the way and win a state title? Because it's been 14 years and you've been a part of this program. So just talk more about what it means as an alum to see it happen in front of you at HHCA's campus.
Yeah, I mean, when J-Dub came in, I looked at his resume. I was like, what are we getting in for a coach here? What are we getting? And I mean, he was coaching, baseball in Florida. Now,
Yeah.
Florida athletics, anyone will tell you, it is never easy to be successful in Florida. Never. It's just
They play
always
some
so difficult.
serious baseball down there,
They
boys.
do. They really do. And he was very successful. I mean, I believe he was coach of the year at one point for his division of high school sports for high school baseball in Florida at one point. So, I mean, I knew we had a good coach coming in, a former Bluffton Bobcat. He's in Bluffton Sports Hall of Fame, I believe, as a former baseball player for the Bobcats. And,
I covered him
I knew,
back in the day.
huh?
I covered him back in the day.
Yeah. And I mean, I knew, like, I saw this and I was like, look, Matt Smith was a great coach. He was a really good coach. He knew to a certain degree what he was doing, and he was successful during his time as head coach for Hilton Head Christian Academy. But we could never get over that semifinals hump. And twice that we had a chance, 2 or 3 times I think we had a chance at the state finals, and just could never get over that hump. So, when Matt Smith decided to focus solely on coaching football as the defensive coordinator for Christian Academy. When they brought in J-Dub, I was like, okay, this could be the guy we need. And I really believed it because his resume showed how successful he was in Florida. I could only imagine if he brings in and, brings in the right coaches, and starts developing some of these players. Like, there's one player that comes to mind that I saw the development from Wilkerson put upon this player, and that player is Ben Eddy. Some of you may remember Ben Eddy. When he first started playing, he was an 8th grader on our varsity team. And he was playing alongside me at one point, and I watched him grow. And one summer, all of a sudden I come back and he was much shorter than me at one point.
Boy,
And
he got
I
tall.
come back and that dude grew. And I was like, okay, if you can hone in your pitching, you're going to be something special. And I saw him play his last game of senior year, and it was the best pitching performance I'd ever saw him put together. And I was like, yeah, they have the right coaching staff. This is the coaching staff you need to develop a team worthy and capable of winning a state championship. And that's what they did. Look, there will be people who will say that you brought in players from other schools. Yes, that's true. We did. But we also developed those players and made them better than what they were when they came in. So I think, apart from Cody Bratt came in his senior year, but I think, he got better over the off season anyway. But, you bring some of these players in, you brought the Birds back to Hilton Head Christian Academy. I mean, there was a point where they were at Christian Academy as middle schoolers, and I watched the Steele and Slade play, and I was like, oh my God, these two kids are going to be something.
There's another one coming, by the way. Stone's coming.
There is another one to be coming. Yeah, I know. And you look at those.
He's pretty good too.
Yeah, I know he's really good. And you look at the talent that you develop. They're still doing that at the younger level too. I mean, the JV team, the middle school team, they were both really successful this year, and they have really good players that eventually you bring up, and you're keeping all your coaches.
They got a bunch.
They do. They really do. And you're
bringing
they
do have really quality coaching at all levels. I mean,
that's right.
Exactly. Two of our Waves coaches coach the middle school, and Aaron Jackson's as good a baseball mind as I've ever known. He's an exceptional coach. So I know that they're getting exceptional coaching from the middle school level on.
Right.
So I have no question about that. They're developing talent.
We had when I was playing, we did, like, in middle school, we did have a couple of good coaches over the years. Like, we had Mike Cherry, Dargan Cherry's father. He coached us for a year, and that was probably one of the best years I had in terms of, developing and stuff like that at the middle school level, was when Mike Cherry was head coach. And then former, first team baseball college All-American Rick Norton took over, and he was a great coach. I learned a lot from him. But some of the coaches they have now, I think developmental-wise, are just as good, if not better. And it goes through every single level, because when you get
and they've had some continuity. They've had the same ones for a while. So
I mean,
helped too.
You look at the talent, you look at the coaching staff. J.W. Wilkerson built is currently and will be, even as athletic director, he's keeping all of his coaches that are on his coaching staff for next season and the following seasons to come, hopefully. So you have that coaching staff that's still going to be there with Jay Scarborough as the head coach. The sky's the limit for them because the talent that they have at every level, this could very, very much so become, potentially a powerhouse to be reckoned with throughout the state of South Carolina.
I think they're here to stay. Definitely, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be good for a while. That doesn't mean state championship every year, but
no,
they'll be in the mix for most of the time. So, well, hey, let's shout out the last round of sponsors. We got the Lowco Booster Club. They support us, so please support them. Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court, are Lowco natives with Charter One Realty. They want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Revive Rehab Women's Health and Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy. You can find Dr. Ali and Dr. Jen there, and they love to work with new moms and get them back on their feet. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, all kinds of other cool stuff. Go over to their showroom on Argent Boulevard to see what they can do for you. Jay's Barbershop is the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Go in for some great conversation and come out looking stylish. And Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Chris Odom and his team will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. That's the Lowco Booster Club. Wes, leave something good, some meat on the bone for Max, but who you shouting out tonight?
Well, we only have one winning team, and so, I got to go with a Hilton Head Christian Academy Eagle. I'm going to go with my guy who I've been shouting out throughout the broadcast, Portland Colella. Absolute dog in the playoffs. You mentioned the tear that he was going on like this entire postseason, but saved one of his best performances for last. And I really thought it was the double in that fifth inning, which really sparked that big frame. But just a truly remarkable performance in a clinching championship game. You got to have a rock as a hitter on the cleanup spot. And did he deliver at the very best time for HHCA? And also was a tremendous catcher as well throughout. You need a good backstop to have success in the playoffs. And he did everything you need to deliver your squad a state championship. And my God, there are a ton. You can shout out pretty much anybody because everyone showed up. Everyone showed up and played their heart out in this game, which led them to that state championship. But when you look at what Colella was able to do tonight, that double, but he also was key. And now I think the book differed from Hilton Christian versus the PD Game Changer because it says here had 2 hits. I think I saw something here that said he had 3. So there was a discrepancy. I think
on the HHCA Game Changer,
probably that fly ball to right
went
off the glove of the right fielder, which I guess it was ruled a hit
in the first inning. That was a hit, wasn't it?
I thought it would be a hit, but it was ruled an error on the.
It was scored a hit on the HHCA Game Changer. They had him 3 for 4 with 2 doubles.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. It was hard to tell on the camera. On the video, but it looked like it was just a little flare that just got down, and he was hard out of the box and got 2. If anything, maybe you could go single in an error, but if they misplayed it, but I don't think so. I think it was a double all the way. But yeah, Colella definitely deserving of a shout out. Max, who you shouting out, buddy?
Oh man. I got to go with their pitching, AJC's pitching all season long, man. Like you mentioned, a 1.59 ERA as a pitching team. That right there is what kept them in the playoffs, is what got them to a state championship. You have a great offense, but a great offense always needs a great defense and a great pitching staff, and that's exactly what they had this year. They had fantastic pitching, rare pitching too, because there aren't many high school teams you will ever see post a below 2 ERA and almost a 1.50 ERA. that's something that doesn't happen often at the high school level.
No, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, and the depth really showed up, especially in this championship series. I mean, Clark coming in and just blowing smoke out of the pen and shutting them down the other night, and then
But
Nicholson
look at these
tonight was
numbers.
huge.
The runs allowed, after they won 8-5 over Florence Christian, but one run given up to Williamsburg in game one, the first game of the back-to-back they had to win. Then they gave up just one run the next one against Williamsburg, and then one run allowed against PD. And I know 4 allowed in this game, but what a stretch just, in terms of pitching and defense by
That's what they needed
against some quality
It's what
teams,
you
against some good lineups.
Supposed to be on fumes at this point, and they weren't. Like they still had gas in the tank. That's
because they have something they haven't had in years. I mean, we never had that depth at pitching. Because I think if we did, we would have had at least one, if not 2, state championships while I was playing. If we had that pitching depth,
kind of a key part.
They had the depth. I mean, that was the key thing to them winning the state championship this year was make sure you have enough depth at pitching. And they had beyond enough. Depth of pitching, and you look at the pitchers.
They burned them last year, and they made sure they had enough guys ready to go for the postseason.
Look at all the pitchers they had this year: Hayden Brooks, James Crosby, Cody Bratt, Zane Wilson, Walker Mickelson, Dylan Clark. I mean, that's 6 pitchers, and there's more.
Seminara, Tucker Nelson was pretty good until he got shut down. So, and a lot of those guys will be back. So. For my shout out, I'm giving it to Beaufort's own and Max Arraj. A great call. Oh shoot, we're muted.
Let's watch it again. I want to watch it again before we.
Ball game series for the first time in 14 years. Hilton Head Christian Academy can call themselves state champions. In J.W. Wilkerson's final game, what could be more fitting? What could be more special?
Hey, if you're watching this Hilton Christian Academy, I've never seen it on highlight reels and athletic packages for years to come, because it doesn't get much better than that.
That's right. An alum on the call, no less. Good stuff. And on that note, fellas, thanks so much to Jimmy Searson for jumping on tonight with us. Thanks to Carlo Perusa for the camera work and the highlights tonight. Thanks to all of our sponsors, and thanks to everybody who showed up to listen or watch. We'll come back tomorrow night and do it a little earlier, I think. We'll aim for a 9 o'clock start tomorrow night. We'll round up the Class 1A state meet and share and tell whatever else we can find going on in the Lowco here on the Lowco Sports Lowdown. So for Wes Kerr and Max Arraj, thanks for joining us. Until next time, go Lowco.
Go Eagles.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing.